and has something to share, I think it's important that you guys get to hear from their perspective too. So here we go. We're going to read it. I'm going to respond to it. And Rashid, you're going to add whatever you think, right, babe?
Yes, baby.
Okay. So, Jeffrey left the following, and I'm going to read it in Jeffrey's voice because it's better that way. Symone, how dare you spread false information about something you know nothing about, especially when it involves children. You should know better. But then again, degrees do not give you common sense, and she would know because she has 2 of them for the University of Phoenix. Okay. A decent woman that's a part of this franchise would have at least sent me a message directly with your questions. I could care less about the fans because they are fans. I am grateful for them, but you, oh, ma'am, first, I was married to my high school sweetheart of 12 years, and even if I wasn't, what are you even trying to say?
Hey guys, welcome to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. I watched this video obviously yesterday when I did a RTL super panel, and I couldn't react properly because I had never heard the video before and there was a lot of information. So I thought I'd break it down, give a bit more information, a bit more clarity in terms of what's actually happening here as well. So we're going to have a conversation. All right. So for the next 20 or so minutes, we're going to break this video down and give a bit more clarity on what's been said. So listen, you F around, you're going to find out, they say. If you're new to the channel, do me a massive favor. Like it, share, subscribe to this channel as well. And then click on that bell button for notification of the uploads. And for those of you who are returnees, you already know what it is, baby. You got the minerals. You got the minerals. Stay hydrated. Yes. All right, cool. Let's play this video. Let's get in deep. Let's break some of this down. Because we're going to address some of Jeffrey's lies.
Black men, every day they walk away from their children, married or not. Black men are despicable. She didn't add that part, but I'm reading it. If you think that being married to someone will prevent you from being abused or cheated on or walked out on because they are too weak to handle their responsibilities, then you are the one that needs therapy, ma'am. My children went through so much trauma that I won't repeat it at this moment, but in due time I will. And when I do, please don't try and apologize and create a glass eye then. Why do you think the men still, with all that you claim are baggage that I have, why do they still see me as a wife? It's because I am. Your husband seems absolutely amazing because your spirit is disgusting. And it shows. You over here trying to get views off of someone's innocent children's lives as the topic. I am so glad that I didn't walk away from my children just because I didn't have the presence of the fathers. You suck. I am the sweetest thing on earth, but you ticked me off mentioning my children week after week. Let's go. End scene. All right, babe.
I got nothing.
Okay, are you ready to price this down? Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for taking the time to watch and provide this soliloquy.
Please like and subscribe.
Yeah, do that first. Like and subscribe.
And join our membership community if you'd like. Anyone else, you're welcome to join.
Thing that I have to address is she says that I'm spreading false information. I think the false information that she's referring to is how I specifically referenced the fact that she had all 3 of her children prior to being married. And she has said she was with, she actually married her high school sweetheart of 12 years. So we're going to start there. First of all.
Okay, so we have heard obviously this particular part. Well, she obviously put in the message actually to Symone that she married her high school sweetheart. She was married for 12 years. So this is quite an important part of information. If she said to, especially if she said it to Symone directly that she was married for 12 years, then old girl, you know, if she finds out that she wasn't married for 12 years, it's gonna be a little bit techie. So let's see what she says.
That's lie number 1. You were trying to give the impression that you were married and that therefore you guys plan your pregnancies together and that this was like a long-term decision. Lie number 1. Here's why.
Whoa, you got no cards?
Oh Oh, yeah. Oh, you guys, yeah. I ran a background check. I used my software, but then I also used my investigative specialist because I was fully prepared to give an apology. But then when I realized it was full of lies, I said, well, I can't do that to the viewers. That
So
would be
then now
wrong.
you're in attorney mode. Is this the jury? Are you giving?
It's not a
She said, listen, I'm leaving here with something. Okay. It's above me now. That's what she said.
jury, but I
You can't
just
even
have to.
turn your. You can't even turn this off.
No,
you
I
got
can't.
no cards and did research.
I do have no cards.
This is not trial.
I do because I was prepared to straight up apologize if I was wrong. I thought that she had actually been married, but the truth of the matter is she wasn't. And what she's trying to imply, right, is that she was married to the guy she was with for 12 years. No, she wasn't. In fact, she wasn't at all. In fact, I know this because my investigator pulled it up. You were not married back in 2012, the first time the two of you together were evicted. And you weren't married back in 2019, the second time the two of you together, you and the second time that you guys were evicted. But what is true is this. You have run around trying to make it as though it's okay. And the records that we have, the records actually that were submitted to Ready to Love, mention nothing about you ever being married. When we sat down one-on-one, you never referenced being married, including you made a statement. It looks like this was an edited one.
Wait.
The original statement
I'm not deep in
thought
it.
that she had actually been married. But the truth.
Hold on. Why is it not deep in it? Yeah, sorry, the chat is moving mad. I don't know what's going on. I think because I updated my software. But this, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Hold on.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you guys, yeah. I ran a background check. I used my software, but then I also used my investigative specialist because I was fully prepared to give an apology. But then when I realized it was full of lies, I said, well, I can't do that to the viewers. That
So
would be
then now
wrong.
you're in attorney mode. Is this the jury? Are you giving?
It's not a jury, but I just have to
turn your. You can't even turn this off.
No,
you
I
got
can't.
no cards and did research.
I do have no cards.
This is not trial.
What you'll need to understand about Symone is F around and find out. That woman don't play. Okay, she has told us. I remember the first time I interviewed her. She told me she does background checks. Listen, don't play with Symone, you know. She probably done a background check on me as well to make sure I'm clean before she interviewed with me. I ain't trying to play with that woman, all right? If she done a background check, I ain't trying to play with that woman. You understand?
I do because I was prepared to straight up apologize if I was wrong. I thought that she had actually been married, but the truth of the matter is she wasn't. And what she's trying to imply, right, is that she was married to the guy she was with for 12 years. No, she wasn't. In fact, she wasn't at all. In fact.
Okay, so that means, so she wasn't married at all. That's a bit much. She wasn't married at all. Damn, that's a big lie. That's a very big lie to drop, you know, if you weren't married at all, but you out here telling us that's the reason why you had kids, you were married and it's intentional. It's a very big lie to drop. What would be the point? Like, why not just, again, this is what happens when you don't own your truth and you try to present in a particular way. You know, I think it's something that is, I can see why people might lie about it, because I guess obviously it's the stigma, it's the judgment, the opinions that come out of this. But it's just like, yo, if people can actually find this information, you know, if it's easily accessible to the public, why would you come and lie like that? Why would you come and tell a lie that you're married when you weren't married? It doesn't make no sense. You know, you're risking it.
I know this because my investigator pulled it up. You were not married back in 2012, the first time the two of you together were evicted. And you weren't married back in 2019, the second time the two of you together, you and the second time that you guys were evicted. But what is true is this. You have run around trying to make it as though it's okay. And the records that we have, the records actually that were submitted to Ready to Love, mention nothing about you ever being married. When we sat down one-on-one.
So, okay. This is it's just mad to think to yourself that you thought you were going to get away with this, though. And then, of all people to do the madness to, you did it to Symone, who's a lawyer. You should have been doing this to me, not to Symone. Simone's a lawyer, girl. She don't be playing around these things. You friends with Morgan. You know what Morgan said. Morgan says she even checks to see how far she can do before police get involved. And you haven't learned nothing from your toxic friend? But you thought you were going to come for Symone? I mean, you asking for trouble at that point. But to find out, obviously, you weren't married. Obviously, she said about her investigator. So she obviously has her ways. Investigator obviously did a background check on him, made sure he's actually cool, and then realized, wait, when you apply for the show, you weren't saying that you weren't you weren't saying that you were married. You know what I mean? You weren't saying you were married. So it's like, so there's no mention of marriage at all. So why all of a sudden you're dropping marriage into the equation? That doesn't make sense.
One, you never referenced being married, including you made a statement. It looks like this was an edited one, but you actually, the original statement that you left, you stated that I should have called you and spoken to you first before making any statements. That's not how this works. He and I, we don't watch the show in advance. We sit down together and we make our responses. And my response was in response to the fact that when I sat down with you, he and I, we met you on the very first date, you never referenced being married. Do you remember her referencing being married?
I don't remember.
No, she never did.
Yeah, I don't think someone's going to get into any trouble. And of course, I think the way that Symone's presenting the information, there will always be people who like it and people who don't like it. I get it. It's one of the reasons why I don't present information that particular way, because it looks like it's being messy, but that's her personality. She likes to dramatize, and that's fine. It's not a big deal at all. I don't think she necessarily be messy. What she is doing is stating the facts. Okay, the facts on facts. What we're not gonna do is lie on this stage. So she presented the facts out here.
However, I have heard that you have told some people after the fact that you had an annulment. Even then, if you've had an annulment from the 12-year guy, what that means, annulment means we were never married. In fact, it means you went to the court and you said, this is so insignificant, Your Honor, that we want you to annul this so that the world would know we were never actually married. So
now, of course, obviously this as well, depending on the state that you're also in, depending on the state that you're actually also in, there isn't a limitation on annulment. So she could have been in a relationship. She could have been in a marriage for 12 years and then got annulled in that situation, if that's the case. But it depends on the state. But then the question would come up then being, what would be the reason for the annulment? Because when we talk about annulments, some of the reasons why annulments happen are you relied on this fraud or misrepresentation at the time of the marriage. Spouse couldn't consent to the marriage because of mental incapacity, use of drugs or alcohol. A spouse cannot consummate the marriage. They're refusing to have intercourse, which I'm sure isn't the truth because they had kids. A spouse was under the age of consent and didn't have permission from parents, guardians, or court to get married. A spouse was coerced to marry by force or threat. Marriage occurred as a result of a joke or a dare. Marriage is void due to bigamy or polygamy. And the marriage is void due to incest, concealment of major issues, including substance abuse, a felony, child from a prior relationship, a mental health issue, and sexually transmitted diseases. These are some of the reasons why annulment actually happened. So what is the reason for the annulment? That's what I'm wondering. What is the reason for the annulment? If there was an annulment, what was the reason for it? Let me just go back slightly, just so I can get an understanding of what she was saying here. Just because I want to make sure.
He and I, we don't watch the show in advance. We sit down together and we make our responses. And my response was in response to the fact that when I sat down with you, he and I, we met you on the very first date, you never referenced being married. Do you remember her referencing being married?
I don't remember.
No, she never did. Okay. However, I have heard that you have told some people after the fact that you had an annulment. Even then, if you've had an annulment from the 12-year guy, what that means, annulment means we were never married. In fact, it means you went to the court and you said, this is so insignificant, Your Honor, that we want you to annul this so that the world would know we were never actually married. So you don't get to change this up now. But here's what really matters. The point of my commentary last week, and I just want to clarify, it wasn't anti-single mom. This was about a particular woman who happens to be a single mom who didn't want to take any sense of accountability for how she got there. Now, I absolutely understand and recognize that you can be in situations where men mislead us and they give us only a portion of the facts that they want us to have us then commit to either them or to starting a family. Understood. But my point was, after it happened to you the first time, that would be a time to do something a little bit different. Maybe do a deeper dive, a deeper inquiry before you have the second child. Or the third child. None of that. Now we're going to go into lie number, I think at this point we're at lie number 3. On the show, you stated that your child's father, the one you were with for 12 years, hadn't seen your or hadn't participated in your kid's life for 6 years.
That's a big thing, because obviously that's one of the reasons why she didn't want to bring the ex onto the show. Remember, when she had a conversation with Blue and when she had a conversation with Mark Anthony, and I told you the way that Blue was watching her, he didn't believe a word she was saying. That brother was like, I smelled a bull crap, you know what I mean? And he was looking a bit suspect at that situation. So that's an important part.
Again, that's a lie. Because once again, like I said, together you guys were living and you were evicted in 2012. And then you were evicted again in 2019, in Cuyahoga County, where you're from. Together that happened. But then also what's really...
So she was evicted twice. She was evicted twice in this situation. So she was evicted in 2012 and then evicted in 2019. Wow. And I'm guessing that was by the same person, which means you have seen that person the last 6 years, because we're in 2023. And if it's 2019, it's only been 4 years maximum that you might not have seen that person, max. But you renewed a lease in 2012 and in 2019. Damn. Okay. It's a lot.
Important to note is you lied on the show. You said you were with the father of your 2-year-old. Happy birthday. Her birthday's going to be on the... That's great. That you were with him for 3 years. That too was a lie. Because even if we take your I had an annulment story, that annulment would have been around 2020.
Wait, she would have had an annulment in 2020. Yes, I get it now, because obviously 2000. Okay, yeah. Wow, okay.
Well, in 2021, you had to file a petition for paternity because the recipient of your gift didn't seem to want it very much. Now, did you?
So so she had the baby. Okay, someone said she had a baby in 2020. Oh my God. This is too much. Both were living together in 2019 and 3-year guy overlapping. Okay. So, and she had a baby in 2020. Because obviously the kid is only, 3 years old? Or 2 years old, sorry. The kid is 2 years old. Okay, so the kid is 2 years old, had a baby in 2020. That was with a new guy, but then her annulment would have been in 2020. Oh my God. You know when it's just starting to click in your head? You know when it's starting to add up in your head? It's now, it took me a second. It did. It did. It took me a second. It took me a second.
It's pretty difficult to put into words how disgusted I am.
It took me a second, but I get it. But damn. So, okay, so 20, oh my days. So you had obviously an eviction in 2012, an eviction in 2019, had a baby in 2020, but your annulment also was in 2020, which means there was an overlap because the kids obviously got to be 9 months before that in the womb. 2019. Oh, that's why he asking the questions. Mercies of God is messy.
Skirt. I gotta stop. First of all, that's a lot.
All right. Okay. I can summarize.
Hold on.
Go, baby.
What I'm trying to say is, are you saying there was a paternity test for which?
The youngest, the 2-year-old, the one that was born in the third child, the gift.
Hold on. Okay, the gift. So
the gift, she's explaining the gift part. Okay, cool.
If that is true,
it is true. It was filed 22.
I'm sorry.
On of 2022.
So there was actually a filing for paternity in 2022, and the one that she said was a gift to a man. See, that's what I told you. The wording for gift was just all off. I told you the wording for the gift was really mad. Like, it didn't make sense. And it's like you're telling us the story, but I said a gift. When I told you guys to watch out when you hear someone say the word gift, you got to be very careful what they're really saying, because it weren't adding up for me. Do you know what I mean? It weren't adding up for me. So now we're deep in it that this gift really wasn't a gift, because in actualization, the guy didn't even know if it is his kid or not, because you was overlapping with the, oh my God, mercies.
Jefferi filed a paternity petition to establish paternity because he didn't sign the birth certificate.
So how's it you gifted somebody and you have to do a paternity? Okay.
I'm not sure either. My point is this. Your relationship with him was so new, he didn't feel like he knew you well enough. He also knew that you were getting out of either the common law relationship or the annulment or whatever it was. But it had been less than about a year, less than 2 years, we'll say less than 2 years from you, quote unquote, ending the relationship with dad number one and getting with number two, such that he didn't feel comfortable he was the dad. So you had to file the paternity petition in order to get him to, one, acknowledge paternity and then to pay child support. I'm very proud of you for getting your due. That is what you need to do. And I am.
Okay, so the kid ended up being, I'm guessing the kid ended up being his though. Okay, because clearly, she got the child support. So I'm guessing, she obviously got she also got the right information. Is quite mad. So yeah, I think that makes sense. She said about the paternity. She's getting the child support. That means it's his kid. But this is not a gift, because obviously the guy didn't want to sign a paper, which means he wasn't included in this decision. This seems like you guys were messing around, ended up having a kid, etc. I mean, first and foremost, she should have been protecting herself, making sure she's not out here fooling around without protection, because you already have 2 kids before this. Listen, I came at the men last time. I came at the men last time for that man that has 7 kids and 7 baby mothers. We're now dealing with Jefferi. You need to be making sure the goon is wrapping it up. Why are we not wrapping up? Why are we going in butt naked raw into situations? I'm just confused. Like, why are we not wrapping up? Do you know what I mean? So for me, it's like, you already have 2 kids before this, and we're fooling around with another guy. Cool, like, do your thing. Like, no one, I'm not even trying to say anything, but yes, it is. It's giving. It's now is giving trapping somebody. It's giving trying to trap somebody. That's what it's giving. It's giving that person probably had money, and I had a baby for him and tried to make him stay. That's what it's feeling like right now. Anyway.
I am so glad that you got your past child support of over $12. Well, whatever it is. The point is this. What matters is we all make mistakes, but unless and until we're at a position in our lives when we can recognize, hey, there's something that I could have done a little bit differently, we're going to continue to make the same mistakes. And go ahead, baby. And in finale, this is what I really have an issue with. I have an issue with the fact that you said, quote, Black men every day walk away from their children, married or not. What we're not going to do, what we're not going to do on my channel is make a statement like that without taking any accountability for yourself.
And do you know what? Symone has an absolute point. An absolute point. Because, she has to take accountability. Okay, she has to take accountability for her behavior. Now, it sounds like she got a really big money. Yeah, I think that was it, Nikki B. That was I was just about to talk about that. If I remember correctly, I think this was on her interview. If you listen to her interview on, there was a channel that she did an interview, radio interview, and she spoke about he's an athlete or something like that, or a sportsman. That's why she can't mention his name, which means the second guy she went and got. So it sounded like a trap. Can't lie to you, brother. It sounded like a real big trap. It sounded like a trap. It sounded like you try to get money. You know what I mean? It sounded like you were trying to get a little bit of money out here, cuz it sounded like you were trying to get some peas out of man, or someone to look after you. Do you know what I mean? So, I just again I'm looking from her perspective. Why are we not wrapping that up? And I guess maybe the reason why we're not wrapping it up is because there's a motivation to not wrap it up. There's a financial win here. And you're throwing rocks in these type of houses.
You have chosen to start families with people who do not know you. So when they walk away, they are not necessarily walking away from your children. They very well might be walking away from you, the stranger that they do not know. And so that is what we have to address. And we are not going to label all Black men. My final point with respect to that is the following. The statistics are clear that when men are married and their child is born within a marriage, men are 93% likely to continue a relationship with that child. But when you have a child out of wedlock, men are more so 70% likely to have a relationship with that child. So if your goal is to ensure that your children have a relationship with the fathers in the future, how about you stop having babies with boyfriends?
But then that still wouldn't make sense as to why maybe the first baby daddy couldn't come and see the kids. Why the first baby daddy couldn't come and see the kids? She said it's been 6 years, which again is a lie, because obviously what she said, because obviously she obviously had a situation. It makes sense now why the baby daddy hasn't seen the kids, potentially because of the situation of overlapping men that she's been doing stuff with, and potentially that's why the men have not the man is not coming to see her. So that makes a bit more sense. Damn. So 12 years you're with this guy, but I don't get it. So wait, why did they annul and then she's with him for 12 years? Sandra Nelson allegedly is Isaiah Thomas, the world champion. Okay, Jefferi mentioned possibly abuse. Okay. Because it's given like there's something missing. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's given something's missing. So we weren't in a marriage for 12 years, but we annulled that marriage. So, okay, common law marriage. Okay, cool. All right. So 12 years give a common law. See, I just feel like when people are not direct and not true about how they're actually doing stuff, it just confuses. You know what I mean? It just confuses things. And she could have killed this all by just being truthful about her situation and saying, "Look, I've made some mistakes in the past. I've done some really silly things, and this is what it is." And we would have forgiven her and be like, "Oh, we get it. We totally understand." But when you don't do that, and you're not being vulnerable about the situation, you're not being true about the situation, you're opening doors for madness, because someone's going to know your story. Now, the fact that obviously you decided also to come at old boy, decided to come at Symone on her platform, you're opening a kind of worms. So, okay, so I see what you're saying. So you can't get annulment up to 12. Well, it depends on what state you are. I did check. Some states can have There's no limit on the annulment, but yes, you're right. Time does play a part oftentimes in annulment. So what we're saying, I guess the annulment was would have been in 2020, which means obviously then the marriage would have been new. Jeez, this is a lot. My brain is hurting, bro. Damn. Someone said she was already dating at 14. Because obviously, if she's 30, let's see, she was 32. She's 32 now, right? So she was dating in 2012, which is a good 11 years ago. 21, it's possible. Especially season 6. I just my brain is hurting because there's too much. I'm still trying to figure out the information. I need to even go. I got another live to do. Okay, I got another live to do, so I need to even go on it. But God, we gonna revisit. We gonna revisit this on Monday. Okay, we gonna revisit this on Monday. Because this needs to be talked about. We're gonna revisit this on Monday. I still feel like I'm on edge. I need to listen to this again for the 5th time to fully deep what she was saying. My brain is doing cup of the bush. Let me just
all this so that the world would know we were never actually married. He and I, we met you on the very first date. You never referenced being married. Do you remember her referencing being married?
I don't remember.
No, she never did.
Okay.
However, I have heard that you have told some people after the fact that you had an annulment. Even then, if you've had an annulment from the 12-year guy, what that means, annulment means we were never married. In fact, it means you went to the court and you said, this is so insignificant, Your Honor, that we want you to annul this so that the world would know we were never actually married. So you don't get to change this up now. But here's what really matters. The point of my commentary last week, and I just want to clarify, it wasn't anti-single mom. This was about a particular woman who happens to be a single mom who didn't want to take any sense of accountability for how she got there. Now, I absolutely understand and recognize that you can be in situations where men mislead us and they give us only a portion of the facts that they want us to have us then commit to either them or to starting a family. Understood. But my point was, after it happened to you the first time, that would be a time to do something a little bit different. Maybe do a deeper dive, a deeper inquiry before you have the second child or the third child. None of that. Now we're going to go into lie number, I think at this point we're at lie number 3. On the show, you stated that your child's father, the one you were with for 12 years, hadn't participated in your kid's life for 6 years. Again, that's a lie. Because once again, like I said, together you guys were living and you were evicted in 2012. And then you were evicted again in 2019, in Cuyahoga County, where you're from. Together that happened. But then also what's really important to note is you lied on the show. You said you were with the father of your 2-year-old. Happy birthday. Her birthday's going to be on the that's great. That you were with him for 3 years. That too was a lie. Because even if we take your I had an annulment story, that annulment would have been around 2020. Well, in 2021, you had to file a petition for paternity because the recipient of your gift didn't seem to want it very much. Now, did
Skirt. I gotta stop. First of all, that's a lot.
All right. Okay. I can summarize.
Hold on.
Go, baby.
What I'm trying to say is, are you saying there was a paternity test for which?
That's just what I'm getting it. It feels like, just as I'm getting it, it just feels like it's flowing away from me. Like I got it, and then it just goes. It's like my brain is getting it, but it's going. The information is coming in, and I'm deep in it, but it's going. And it's like, where is she? How does she know the time? It's like it comes and it goes. Oh, I need to get out of it. Men's panel is coming on.
The youngest, the 2-year-old, the one that was born in the third child, the gift.
Okay, the gift. So, if that is true,
it is true. It was filed 22 on of 2022 Jefferi filed a paternity petition to
Rashid.
establish paternity because he didn't sign the birth certificate.
Rashid.
So how's it? How you? That's you gifted somebody. You have to do a paternity. Okay.
I'm not sure either.
Go
My
ahead,
point
go
is
ahead,
this. Your relationship with him was so new, he didn't feel like he knew you well enough. He also knew that you were getting out of either the common law relationship or the annulment or whatever it was. But it had been less than about a year, less than 2 years, we'll say less than 2 years from you, quote unquote, ending the relationship with dad number one and getting with number two, such that he didn't feel comfortable he was the dad. So you had to file the paternity petition in order to get him to, one, acknowledge paternity and then to pay child support. I'm very proud of you for getting your due. That is what you need to do. And I am so glad that you got your past child support of over $12. Well, whatever it is. The point is,
I saw grand. I saw her lips say grand. I saw her lips say grand. I saw her lips say grand. Okay, somebody said Cuyahoga County doesn't acknowledge common law relationships. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna need somebody to come explain this later on.
what matters is we all make mistakes, but unless and until we're at a position in our lives when we can recognize, hey, there's something that I could have done a little bit differently, we're going to continue to make the same mistakes.
You know what? Listen, guys, we gonna see this tomorrow because, and if Jefferi's got a live tomorrow, we'll do a live after she does the live. If Jefferi's got an interview tomorrow, we'll do a live after the interview. We're gonna watch it, we're gonna review it, we're gonna speak about it. Okay, so if Jefferi's on a live, who said Jefferi's got a live tomorrow? Where, put the information in the chat so we know that tomorrow Jefferi's got a live or interview tomorrow, because we need to talk about it. Okay, all right, we need to talk about it. You understand? This is madness. I'm still confused. I can't lie to you. The timelines, you know what I mean? It's still got me a little bit discombobulated. So tomorrow we're back here again, guys. We meet here again tomorrow. Someone send information. Where's Jefferi having an interview tomorrow so we can all turn up and we're gonna review it after. So whoever's got information, let us know. Okay, let us know. We need to know. This is a lot. This is a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot for me. Hey, this is a lot for me. Hey. You know what I'm saying? This is a lot for me. My God. Whew. GRX, what did you say? Where is it going to be happening? Who's doing the interview? Because it ain't me. Who's doing the interview? I just want to know. I want to know where the interview is going to be because we need to turn up. We're going to turn up. LBB people, we're going to turn up. Okay? We're going to turn up. Because we got questions. Okay? God have mercy. Anyway. This is crazy, bro. It's crazy. For me, it's madness. For me, it's madness. All of this happening is crazy stuff. I just don't know. I'm shocked. Okay, I'm shocked. Anyway, listen, guys, we gonna have another conversation later. I need to go because I need to get out of here. But listen, oh my days, this is madness. All right, cool. Here's what we're gonna do, guys. We're gonna have a men's panel later on. Join the live. Whew. This is definitely not that. We're going to answer the question, though. We're going to the men's panel now live. Listen, we're having a good conversation tonight. Ladies, you're in the chat. We're having a conversation, okay? Should men love women more? We're having that conversation. I don't believe that women should love men more. JR, I'm going to send you a link as well. I don't think we should love women more, okay? All right? You love them more, and this is what happens. Yeah, when you love them more, it's what happens. Yeah, having babies, no jokes. But we're gonna be talking about this because that's tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll do a live on this. But for now, we're going on to another live. We're talking about obviously should men love women more. We'll have that conversation. My God, this is too much. I'll see you guys tomorrow because this is my brain is still not computing all the things that's been happening.
I'm leaving here with something. You know what I mean? I'm from around the way. I'm leaving with something.